Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I bid to both panel, Puan Nora and Puan Zuraida. A big thank you and welcome to friends who are also watching this video. Our final year project is titled Awareness of Child Sexual Abuse Among Society in Negeri Sembilan. My name is Nora Binti Osman.
My name is Zuraida Binti Muhammad Aziz.
My name is Siti Sahara Binti Muhammad Noor.
The supervisor of our group is Puan Azmina Binti Abdul Hadi. Thank you, madam, for your guidance. So, let's move forward to introduction. What is sexual abuse? Sexual abuse can be divided into four, which are sexual harassment, sexual assault, sexual violence, and also rape. The meaning of sexual abuse differs from one country to another. In Malaysia, the law does not specifically define what sexual abuse is, but in the Malaysian Penal Code, it states a sexual act of sexual intercourse with an adult woman or girls aged 16 and below with or without their consent is considered as rape. This can be backed by a previous study that shows sexual abuse is the entanglement of any sexual activities with a child where their consent is given or not. Bear in mind that sexual abuse does not only have to involve penetration, force or food. This can be proved by a study done by William that says engaging in sexual activities with the children, obscene exposure of the genitalia, child grooming, child sexual oppression, or using a child to produce child pornography are also considered as child sexual abuse. Some people may take light of this problem, but it is very important to know what child sexual abuse is, as what happens to the children today will shape them in the future, whether they are going to be a good Samaritan or not.
I will proceed to problem statement. Malaysia is not the only country that facing a child sexual abuse problem. Other countries had also facing the same problem as Malaysia, as child sexual abuse is a worldwide problem that keep happen around us. Child sexual abuse has been happened a long time ago up until now. Millions of children had suffered from sexual abuse. It can happen to all socio-economic background, ages, and countries. The children has to experience the suffer of being the victim of child sexual abuse, exploitation, and even abusing their daily life. It is found that many cases of child sexual abuse are not being reported to the authority because of the society itself. They felt really shame, that embarrassed because they have to suffer from child sexual abuse problem. There are many cases that already happened in Malaysia, such as a man sexually abused a girl in front of the mosque toilet. Secondly, a 2-year-old baby being abused physically and sexually by her babysitter and also the babysitter's husband. Next, I will explain objective and method analysis apply. Firstly, to investigate the awareness of child sexual abuse among society in Seremban, which is tested by using descriptive analysis. Secondly, to determine whether there is a difference in the perception and knowledge among ethnicities, which is tested by using one-way ANOVA. And lastly, to determine the contributing factors toward awareness of child sexual abuse, which is tested by using multiple linear regression.
Next, I will continue with methodology. In the research design, we use descriptive design. For the population and sample, all the society in Seremban is our population, which is 6,019,100. It is based on the Department of Statistics. The sample taken is 400, which is based on the past study that has been conducted. For the research method, we use a probability sampling technique, which is multi-stage sampling. On the first stage of multi-stage sampling, we choose Seremban out of all the districts by using a cluster sampling. On the second stage, out of all the parks found in Seremban, 3 parks were chosen to be our cluster. The parks was S2 Seremban Hill Park, S2 City Park, and Dataran Seremban. For the data collection method, this research use a primary data which are self-administered questionnaire. For the research instrument, this questionnaire is consisted of 4 sections, which are Section 1 for demographic part, Section 2 for knowledge about sexual abuse, Section 3 for perception of sexual abuse, Section 4 for awareness of sexual abuse. For pilot study, it was conducted in January 2020 by distributing it to 35 respondents. After we clean the data, there are about 33 respondents were valid to be analyzed. Based on the answered questionnaire, there are a few errors and problems that can be detected. Hence, some of the questionnaire were removed to get a higher value of Promba alpha. For theoretical framework, the independent variable is gender, age, ethnicity, marital status, professional status, knowledge, and perception. For the dependent variables, it is the awareness about the child's sexual abuse.
I will explain the descriptive analysis. The bar chart shows the frequency of gender. Female is the higher participant in the study with 128 compared to male 86. Next is the pie chart. The pie chart shows the frequency of age categorization. Most of the respondents are 15 to 30 years old, followed by 31 to 30 years old, and the least which is above 61 years old. Next is the frequency of marital status of the respondent. 154 respondents are single, 55 are married, 4 are widowed, and 1 is divorced. The pie chart shows the frequency of each ethnicity in Seremban. Majority of the respondents are Malay with 167, followed by 31 Chinese, 11 Indian, and 5 others. After that, the graph shows the respondent professional status. In this study, 70 of the respondents are university students, 56 are from profit company, and the least are employed and retired with 5 and 9 respectively. And the last graph shows places where the respondent learned about CSA, which is child sexual abuse. 181 of the respondents agreed that they have learned about child sexual abuse from media, 67 from school, 45 from friends, and followed by books, neighbors, and home. The first objective is to determine whether there is a difference in the perception of child sexual abuse among ethnicities. The method used is one-way ANOVA. From the significance value shows that 0.412 is greater than 0.05. So it can be concluded that there is no significant difference on perception of child sexual abuse among ethnicities of Seremban. Hence, the perception of child sexual abuse among the ethnicity in Seremban are the same.
Next, I will proceed with Kruskal-Wallis H test. The significance value shown above is 0.632, which appears greater than 0.05. The researcher failed to reject H null, hence it can be concluded that there is no significant difference in the knowledge about children's sexual abuse among ethnics in Sembilan.
To answer the third objective, we proceed to multiple linear regression analysis. At first, the assumptions were violated, but after removing the influential outliers, the assumptions are as follows. Linearity, plots are scattered along zero where no obvious pattern was found. For normality, the Shapiro-Wilk value is greater than alpha 0.05. For homogeneity or variance, there are no obvious shapes or patterns found, and the plots are also scattered around zero. For independence, there are no autocorrelation problems, as the Durbin-Watson value lies between 1.8 and 2.2. For multicollinearity, there is also no problem, as the variance inclusion factors is less than 10, and the value of tolerance is more than 0.1. Excuse me? This is the linear regression result that is generated by psi. As you can see, the model and the independent variables are significant, as their value is less than alpha. This is the multiple linear regression model. As we can see from the previous slide, the significant variables are marital status, ethnicity, and total perception. For the coefficient of determination R square, the value is 0.1562, where it can be interpreted as 15.62% of the variability in total awareness are explained by marital status, ethnicity, and total perception. The other 84.38% are explained by other factors. As you can see, the model is not good, as the variability of total awareness explained by the significant independent variables are too low.
Next, I will draw the conclusion and the recommendation for the study. The first conclusion is the awareness of a person about child sexual abuse is influenced by the marital status, perception, and ethnicity. This result is similar to the past study done by Gorgidos and Greenman, which also shows that marital status, religious and work experience does affect the awareness. The second conclusion is the ethnicities in Sembilan, which is Malay, Chinese, Indian, and others, have the same perception and knowledge on child sexual abuse. This result contradicts with previous study done by Jaafar et al., which stated that ethnicity have different perception of child sexual abuse. The last conclusion that can be drawn from this study is that the society in Sembilan is fairly aware about child sexual abuse that is happening nowadays. These findings is consistent with the past study done from Muse.
Recommendation for future researchers. First, we can change the target population to other states that has higher child sexual abuse cases, for example, Selangor. Second, we need to collect a larger sample size. Due to a smaller sample size, the reliability of the analysis may be affected and be biased. Third, we can use other methods of analysis, for example, logistic regression. Fourth, they need to increase the number of regression for the section under awareness so that in the future it can be classified and scored. And the final recommendation is further studies involving location of residency areas or respondents could be considered, for example, whether they live in rural or urban homes. That's all from us. Thank you very much.